Hello everybody, welcome back for Hytale Patch Notes Update 2. Real quick before we start, I got into the Hytale Creator Program. I have my code on screen right there, BlueBattleHawk. If you guys want to use that to buy the game, it helps me a little bit. That's all. Let's just get right into it today. Hytale Patch Notes Update 2, Cosmetics and Customization. New avatar customization options have been added for everyone. Bandit mask, side knot, blindfold thick, bandage blindfold thick, left eye, right eye, vampire mouth, cute mouth, orc mouth, added white color to fantasy cotton cosmetic colors. Updated visuals for the following haircuts: single side pigtail, hair stick bun, simple bob cut, fighter buns, smart elven, and windswept. Added new armor visibility toggles next to equipped armor, accessible directly in the character panel. Server hosts can disable and enable this feature to enforce rules for PvP/immersion purposes. Server hosts can disable or enable this feature to enforce rules for PvP or immersion purposes. Improved animations for capes while the player is running. Gameplay and balance. A new item was added that allows the user to raise skeletal minions from nearby bone piles. Has a chance to drop from the large Praetorian skeleton. Adamantite now requires a thorium or cobalt pickaxe to be mined. Mining and pickaxe progression has been adjusted. Lower tier pickaxes now deal much less damage to higher tier ore blocks. Upgrading to a higher quality pickaxe significantly reduces the amount of hits required. Buffed polar bears. I've never seen a polar bear, but that's awesome. Would love to get absolutely deleted by a polar bear. More decorative light recipes have been added to the furniture bench. The following NPCs will now drop medium hide instead of light hide: bison, boar, cow, horse, and warthog. The magma toad has been adjusted. Tongue damage has been significantly reduced. Thank the Lord. I didn't die in my Hytale playthrough until I met a magma toad, okay? Those guys were awful. It now alternates between its tongue attack and a new ability, Headbutt. Petals are now craftable in the furniture bench under the textiles category. This makes them renewable, as yellow petals can be farmed from growing sunflower seeds. All crafting requirements used to make different colored petals are renewable resources. Lighter variants for each cloth block can now be crafted using a combination of petals. World Generation. World Gen V2 has been prepared for public documentation to help modders. New default flat and default void templates have been added using World Gen V2. The Creative Hub portal now spawns with World Gen V2 Flat World Gen. Results in clear weather and limited fog, but only works in new creative worlds. Major refractor of ore replacement in all zones. You will need to explore new chunks for old worlds to see this change. Results in more ores, especially in devastated lands underground. Farming. Eternal crops no longer break from accidental weapon damage. Increased tilled soil lifetime now lasts longer, between 1.2 to 1.5 days. Fixed soil decay under fully grown crops. You can now hold torches in your offhand while using the hoe and seeds. Breaking fully grown eternal crops will drop their seeds back. Harvested crops can now be placed on the ground when crouching. Recipe requirement costs have been adjusted for hoes. Justice for the hoes. Hoes now unlock at different farming bench tiers. Copper is now tier 2 instead of tier 4. Iron is tier 4 instead of tier 8. And thorium has been added at tier 6 for those giga farmers. UI UX. Improve the editor block tooltip descriptions. Tooltips will now display the name of colors when hovering over the color options in the avatar customization menu. Made improvements to the visibility of the hotbar active slot by increasing contrast and adding a diamond indicator. This makes it easier to see the hotbar active slot when in brighter environments like the Howling Sands. The categories of memories are now sorted alphabetically while being viewed via the Heart of Orbis. Scripted brush quality of life improvements. Added missing entries to filters and removed invalid blocks from filters. Fixed various bugs in existing scripted brushes. Added decoration in cave brushes. Removed redundant scripted brushes. And updated the jump block type node to use a single offset instead of a list of offsets. Inventory interaction updates. Better double click handling. You can now click faster. Shift clicking on armor will now directly equip it if no armor is currently equipped in that respective slot. QART shortcut keybinds have been added for the inventory quick actions: put all, pull all, quick sack, and sort. Shortcuts now display the tooltip when hovering over quick action buttons such as short items by type. An FPS counter overlay option has been added to the settings menu. This can be found under General User Interface. The current FPS will be displayed in the top right corner of the game when this is enabled. Made various improvements to player markers. Player markers now display on the compass. Removed player prefix from the player markers on the map. Player names will always render on the map. Added toggle buttons for map/compass visibility in the map's player list. Players at different heights will have a different icon, up and down indicators in the compass. That's actually really nice. Added Aphidophobia accessibility mode. Can be found under gameplay accessibility. Turns snake models into hatworms. I kind of just want to see the hatworms. Are hatworms the real thing? No, that can't be, right? It's just a worm with a hat on. That's awesome. I just prefer that. Audio and visual effects. Added all missing basic Rex sounds. Updated the bones, item, drag, drop, inventory sound. Fixed a bug in the Howling Sands cave track, and updated all food particle tints. Bug fixes, tech, and stability. Introduced a server auto update system, including configuration options and new commands for update management. Added a new update module core plugin and integrated it into the server boot process, allowing the server to check for and apply updates, notify players, and handle staged updates. Introduced update config in Hytale server config with fields for enabling updates, check intervals, notification preferences, patch line section, backup options, and auto apply modes. This includes serialization support and getter setter methods. Added a new shutdown reason update to indicate when the server should restart to apply a staged update. Added new /update commands and detailed server messages for checking, downloading, applying, and managing updates, including player notifications and auto apply warnings. Updated the release workflow to include launcher scripts, start.sh, start.bat. Made improvements to rendering shadows to fix various issues. Fixed middle click pick block when the hotbar is full in creative mode. Now when middle clicking a block in creative mode when the inventory is full, it will replace the current slot with the newly picked item. The asset editor will now display documentation and tooltips. Fixed issues with mantling detection, which resulted in many unintended behaviors. Implemented a fix to persist cleared keybinds across sessions. Made some adjustments to improve weather transitions to reduce jarring visuals. More improvements will be made to this in future updates. Fix an issue when using teleporters to avoid accidental collisions by applying an offset. Railcarts now consume correctly and place properly. Consume? Bed respawning in unloaded chunks has been fixed. Fixes an issue where the collision checks always failed if there were no loaded chunks. Major server stability, validation, ECS, localization, and timeout improvements. Refilling containers now targets the closest block of water rather than requiring you to aim at a block behind or under the water. Fix some types of items displaying oversized placement previews. Fix an issue with the Berserker haircut texture tiling. Fix glasses texture from inheriting the cosmetic color on their lens highlights. Added permissions for world map teleporting, which prevents players from sending packets to the server and teleporting anywhere they want to without OP. Emerald Wilds dungeon and other environments have been fixed. You might hear new soundtracks. Fix sending player marker updates while the map isn't open. Fix player markers flickering when hovered on the map. Other players' names are more readable when zoomed in on the map. And that's it, guys. That's pretty meaty. They've been moving pretty quickly on these updates. Guys, let me know if this is something that you want me to keep doing. I've had a couple people reach out to me and say that this is something that's useful to them. If it's still something that you guys want me to do, I will keep doing these. I'm happy to do so. I actually got the idea to do this from this creator on YouTube called Asacross. I am an avid Destiny 2 player, and so every time they would have these blog post updates, they're basically weekly throughout the year, he would go through and read them, and that was my favorite way to consume them. It was almost like a conversational thing in a way, because I believe he read them on his stream. But I just knew that there are more people out there like me that would also probably like to hear, what the patch notes are read out to them instead of, going through all of it themselves. So I thought that I could do that. And yeah, I don't know if I'm going to put this part in.